Oh, Jesus leans down off the cross and says, Peter, I can see your house from up here.
Classic.
And
Oh,
hey
guys.
everyone.
Well, you probably wonder why it's been so long since our last movie review.
I got into a horrible car accident.
And lost his hair.
Yeah.
And
sad day.
And other things, we've been distracted.
Yeah. A lot of work.
Shooting shorts and editing and working and stuff like that. And we haven't really had the opportunity to see movies together. I don't think we've seen a movie together in a long time.
Not since Where the Wild Things Are.
That is a while.
Yeah.
Things
are. Oh, right now, Fourth Kind.
Oh, that's not a movie. That's horrible.
Yeah.
You've seen my singing. So, I figure the most recent film you've seen is...
Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day.
Yes, and 2012.
Yes.
Most recent film I've seen in theaters is The Box, Richard Kelly's The Box. So, I'll talk briefly about Richard Kelly's The Box. Richard Kelly, the director of Donnie Darko and Southland Tales. I think, I know you've seen this, but I think your and my opinion differ a lot. I think this movie was very interesting as far as like the way the plot was going, but it felt like a Twilight Zone episode, or like a short story, which it is based off of, that just went on way too long. As far as acting-wise, you have Cameron Diaz and
James Marsden
and
Frank Langella.
His special effects are really good.
Yeah.
But I mean, they took a simple plot and they made it really, really complicated. And I didn't know whether or not to have fun with it or to take it really seriously. And by the time like it really got through, I was scratching my head. There were certain points of the soundtrack that I thought were excellent, where they really went with it. They gave it that atmosphere of an old Twilight Zone thing. And then other parts is really hokey.
Someone told me that the score was done by Arcade Fire. I don't know if that's true or not. I know there's like 3 composers on it though.
I don't know.
I don't know.
So my overall review for The Box is probably a 2.5 out of 5. Enjoyable at some points. Very interesting as a whole, but just I think the execution was very poor. And the southern accents of Cameron Diaz and all.
That disappeared.
Yeah. And the overall ending plot, even though it's really interesting and all, I think it has a plot hole. That I'm going to say. Where's my blood? So, you talk about 2012.
2012. Co-written and directed by Roland Emmerich, who's done good movies, Independence Day, The Patriot, Stargate, and then not so good movies like 10,000 BC and Day After Tomorrow.
You didn't like Day After Tomorrow?
I like the first half. I don't like the second half.
Yeah, I like the first day, not the second.
2012, just pretty much, world ends in 2012. But it's like a 3-hour-long movie. The first hour is just getting to know John Cusack and his family.
See, I haven't seen it, but one of the selling features for me is I like John Cusack.
Me too.
And John Cusack, even though I have to give him, he always plays the same role. Someone using the toilet up there.
Yeah, what the hell? That's Rob. But, where was I?
John Cusack.
John Cusack, yes. Plays a limo driver, like his character and identity. But an hour in, that's when everything starts to happen, and the world starts exploding. That's what happens. The world explodes.
From inside.
Yes.
Yep.
No, L.A. falls in, like, California falls into the ocean. I think my favorite segment is at Yellowstone, when a giant mountain explodes. And it's like a gigantic nuke.
Now, this movie cost like $200 million, didn't it?
Yeah. The visual effects are really nice.
From what I've seen in the previews, it looks amazing. I just worry that it's every other movie he's done.
When there's nothing exploding, the movie's really boring. And there's like 1,000 different characters.
Like any Roland Emmerich movie.
And just the fact that it's like 3 hours long.
So what's your overall?
Overall review, 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10?
Yes.
And on a side note, did you hear that he wants to do a sequel, well, sequels to Independence Day?
Oh yeah, I haven't read that in a while.
And he wants to call it ID Forever. That's horrible.
Part 1 and 2. What else? Oh, it's Boondock Saints, written and directed by Troy Duffy, who did the first one.
This Boondock Saints 2, All Saints Day.
Boondock Saints 2. Everyone from the original cast comes back except for Willem Dafoe. And so his character got replaced with a protege played by Julie Benz. Which
from Dexter.
From Dexter, and like Angel, and Buffy and whatnot. But my biggest thing with that was I was really afraid it was going to be a rehash of his character. Not so much. There's one part where it's a lot like him, but and all the cops from the the 3 cops from the first one are back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the one? Get me a bagel. Greenlee.
Yeah, he's back. Clifton Collins Jr. It's like his 5th movie this year. He's in it.
If you count like Crank 2 and
yeah,
he's been in a lot. He's an up and coming actor.
He's got a lot of jokes in this movie.
He's become one of the comic relief in a lot of films.
Yeah.
He was kind of the comic relief to a point in The Rules of Attraction when he played the drug dealer.
But the basic plot of Boondock Saints 2 is it's like 10 years later. They're living in Ireland with their father, and a priest is murdered to bring them out of hiding, and they come back trying to find out who killed the priest. And then like the mobster that they execute in the beginning of the first one, his son, played by what the hell is his name?
That guy.
Judd Nelson.
Judd Nelson?
Yeah.
Oh.
He plays the
From the Breakfast
mobster.
Club?
Yeah. He plays the mobster's son.
From Cabin by the Lake?
Yeah.
From Return to Cabin by the Lake?
Yeah.
Well,
But he plays the...
I have no idea who you're talking about.
He plays the son of the mobster who's also out to get them when he hears that they're coming back. And it's just a lot of action-packed.
I have to confess, he told me that it was coming near here, and I passed over it. Because I really love the first one. And I feel just like S. Darko, since we were on the topic of Richard Kelly and all, you just can't compare to those cult classics. Cult classics are movies that were flops in theaters, and then they, past the theater, they get a cult following.
Yeah.
And if you really look at Boondock Saints, I watched it recently. It's not the best movie. I like it, but it's got its flaws.
Yeah,
but,
as does the second one.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just the second one's just not going to catch on. Just like S. Darko's not going to catch, even though S. Darko was a horrible movie.
Oh, so bad.
But it's just not going to catch on because cult status is just cult status. It's not, they're not good movies in the first place, or else they would have done really good in the box office.
I don't know. I think if you had a fun time watching the first one,
you'll have fun.
You'll have fun watching this. I'm not saying it's a good movie overall. It's a fun experience, and the shootout scene, the action sequences are done well. So.
Do you think there's going to be another one?
They leave it open for another one. Yes.
I really wish William Dafoe would have been in it, though.
Yeah.
I liked his character a lot.
So I give it a 7 out of 10.
Okay. DVD recommendation of the week. I'm going to recommend on Blu-ray The Shawshank Redemption. I've been on a Frank Darabont director, Stephen King novel kick lately. Stephen King actually visited our area. I missed it, unfortunately.
3 times.
Yeah, I missed it 3 times. But this is one of my favorites. Shawshank Redemption, starring Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, and an array of other very excellent actors. It's basically the story of a guy who's wrongfully accused. This takes place, during the 1930s?
Yeah.
And he's put in Shawshank prison, and it's his story there. And I'm a big fan of Oz and the Green Mile.
You just like prison in general.
Prison stories are interesting, but I would never want to be in there because I'd be raped so many times.
I thought it was your dream to be in prison.
No.
Remember you were telling me, so you can, shiv a guy and get into a gang?
Or that would be fun, but not the raping. No matter what, day one, someone's getting stabbed or you're getting stabbed. If not with a penis.
With a knife.
With a knife. So that's my recommendation. Check it out. Blu-ray. It looks amazing.
My recommendation is Unknown, directed by Simon Brand. That's a really great cast, too. Jim Caviezel, Greg Kinnear, Joe Pantoliano, Jeremy Sisto, Barry Pepper's in it. Pretty much 5 guys wake up in a warehouse with no memory of who they are and how they got there. They're locked on the inside, and they're trying to figure out who was kidnapped and who did the kidnapping.
From what I saw, because I tuned into it a little while earlier, it was very interesting, and I like the style, very gritty.
It's a really good movie.
So, 30 seconds left. We'll try to bring you one we try, but our availabilities are
real busy this past couple weeks.
And there's a short that we're going to be having out in the next week or so. If I'm putting a lot of production behind it, post-production.
A lot of visual effects involved.
So we'll bring that to you, and Anthony's got some ideas for some shorts and stuff.
Yeah.
So if we miss a week, why don't you say something, and that'll get me to do it. But if not, we'll try to do it as best we can. Until next time.
Give me a call. My phone number is